Now that you are going to be the part of Magna as a remote working associate, you must have some kind of understanding that how do we work. Okay, that working understanding is important for you to understand. If you understand, then you know where you're going to fit into it. So the first part, as any organization, we also need to do a business development. That means we chase our customer. Okay, when you're a customer, we also do research, and the first step is researching and identification of the companies whom we want to become our customer, and we chase them. This is where you will play some role as an RW. We will use your efforts to find which sector it is, to tell you to research something on the net and give us the information, which would be the one of type of work. Within that, we'll also tell you get which companies are there, what are things. So this is a research desk watch. There's no calls to be made, there will be a little bit. So this is also a task given to you to do that. Now comes the next work within that company. Once we have identified the companies, we know this sector. Let us say we talk about automobile sector. Within automobile, we have got the companies like Maruti, Suzuki. We have Mahindra. We have other companies, Volkswagen and Skoda and whatnot. Within that company, who are the person we want to go? So generally, Magna would go to HR heads, talent acquisition heads is for the R Magnet, and even for the MDs, directors, chairmans for my executive search. To get that, and that to get their help, how can we? To communicate that, we need the telephone numbers, we need the email IDs. So that search work is their search work, not the calling work. You're not supposed to make calls, this thing. We'll get the search done from you. All right, so that's about research and this thing. Then second part, what we do is sales and marketing. So they establish contacts. So there could be some work to you where we say, okay, posting on the LinkedIn or other thing, which is more of if there is, we are trying, if there is a work required, which require posting and some kind of thing possible. Okay. Otherwise, it goes to experts who are in the social media, or we will have the person in house. We will done. So process is that you make a connect with them by mailing, by through the reference of our clients. My previous clients is very, very important to us, and that's how we do that. And then you make them presentation, make them understand, and that's how do it. In the sales and marketing as a RW, apart from any role which is in the promotions by sending mails or capturing the informations, beyond that role is not expected until and unless I find somebody who has done B2B sales. If you have done B2B sales, you could be useful. We can even outsource that part of making phone calls and getting the first click on for our magnet, etc. So that is there. Now, once the client comes, once you have already signed the agreement, the client has offered you a mandate. We call it mandate, assignment, a role, a vacancy for which they are looking for a person. That is the second part of the client thing. Now for that, one part is understanding the assignment position. That understanding of the assignment position is done by our consultants. You would not have any role to play. Then they will develop their sourcing and strategy, search strategy. Where will this person come from which industry, from which type of companies, which role. This is again a role which our consultant does. As a RWA, you would not have anything. Then the communication strategy, in terms of what communication would go, what should we say, what should we talk about our client, what would be the expectations of the candidate, what will be the motivation level of a candidate, what should I say the candidate get motivated to reply to us. Now those words does sell, and we will then give you in this thing writing which you there. So that's a communication strategy. You again don't have any role to play. Okay, then come the sources. The sources first start with the secondary. Okay, now what is secondary? The primary source is the company itself. If I have to search the company within the search tree, which we call the hard head hunting, or sometimes we use the word grade crashing. There's a primary source. I will have to research within the company. That's never done in the first place. First, you go to the secondaries. So what is secondary? We have our own database which we maintain. You have sites like Naukri, Monster, LinkedIn, where that information about the candidates are available. Okay, so you go to them, those sites, and get the information. Okay, now here could be possible that we as a RWA, we may give you a task of searching these people on these sites. Still doesn't require any call. It requires intellectual value. And we do have some people who role is only to search. They're expert in searching. And some of them don't even speak good English. But their expertise is so much, once we give them a brief, they understand that, they have a research mind, and they are able to get the information, whatever the people may say. And this I want to explain to you. Whatever people may say in terms of artificial intelligence and all sort of things, and the matching thing does not work. It does not work. It's a human hands, human eyes, human mind which work. And that's where you can make your mark. If we see that you have a good capabilities to research, we definitely want to give. And mind it, this research business is not time specific. Even if you have a 2 o'clock in the night, you like to work on that, you can work. It doesn't require. You can work for 1 hour, stop it, 2 hours, stop it. You don't need this. This is a work which is very useful for the housewives. They should, use the word housewife, homemakers, or the people standing at home who has the compulsions. Next, so primary source hunting, which is secondary, very tedious. That is where we'll be teaching you. That's where your mark. 100% done by the people like that. We will show you how you could research a company. Let us say if company has a top level 500 people at their level. We have cases where out of 500 we have got searched, found the information about the people, about the employees of particular company. Out of 500, maybe 450. We have one case where using the RWAs like you, we did a search across the country where design engineers in the civil design engineer in a sewage water works. There are population at that given time in 2004, 2005, if I remember correctly, was about 15,000, and our people delivered CVs which were not available, and 14,500. That's the thing. We call it short search, long search. You will get that work to do, and it's a very intelligent work done, and one feels this thing there. So that is a primary sourcing where we do, and there are a lot of techniques which will teach you. Communicating. So communicating strategy we have done. If I want to communicate even by mail to a candidate, because ultimately we need to go back to the candidate to tell him this is it. So the job description, which we call in short form JD, is prepared by us. You don't have to. And there is the highlighters given to you, because it may be a 500 words JD, which you don't have a time to highlight it. The bullet points is the one which you read, and what we call is confirmation of interest. That communication to get the confirmation of interest. Mind it, no matter whether it is a WhatsApp, whether it is an email, or whatever it is, the best confirmation and the most confirmation, the fastest confirmation is done by the people like you, and we outsource. Great advantage. And that's where you have the name, and if you will find there is a scale. If you're doing particular salary, you get X amount, and if you get senior level position, you get much more amount. So that's there. Within that, when we do the communication, it's not just saying yes or no, asking the candidate. It is also we allow you, we equip you with some amount of structured interviews. We give you the questions that's you will find over there, and we train you how to ask those questions. and the answers is what you key in. So bit of testing is done as a part of communication. It's parts of this thing. That accuracy of information obtained by RWA makes my consultant's life very, very easy, because they can decide go, no go based on that information. Okay, and that's a valuable job, and the good RWA who does that job is valuable. It's the most valuable to us because that's saving the thing. Thereafter, evaluation and shortlisting. As an RWA, you would not have any role to play, but this is the area where if you put your comment which is not requiring and you start looking at, and those are the people, if it's, then you can work toward to be a recruiter later on, to recruitment, to work under a consultant, and eventually can afford to think to be a consultant. So forwarding the resume, then we, after the shortlisting, etc., we forward the resume. Coordinations happens with the customer. In between, there is a reference check. We do a lot of reference check. Talk to the people's, the candidates, peers, of bosses, seniors, juniors. There could be possibility that RW may play the role for that. You may do some of things for us, provided you achieve that type of thing. Next is coordination of customer and a candidate to make sure things happen. There is a lot of work over there which our consultants are billing, getting the money. That's our thing. You are not bothered. You get your money for the work, the task done by you, whether we place or not, whether we get the money from our customer or not, you get it. And then the relationship manager, promotional part of thing. Promotional, as I said, you will be playing a big part in this. So I hope it's made it very clear to you with this discussion what sort of touch points you would have when you are working from a home. This will give you a good idea, and that is where you need to stimulate yourself to encourage and enthuse yourself to go to the next level.